Hey guys, today I'm gonna make a video about why I'm afraid of men. So I was going to cover this in the last video, but I kind of got burnt out emotionally because talking about these topics takes quite a bit of energy out of me. So yeah, so the reason why I'm afraid of men is because of high school. And in the last video, I said that I got bullied quite a bit by men in high school. So, yeah, and I didn't originally start off hating men or being afraid of men when I was young. When I was young, I think I had like a reasonably healthy perception of men. When I was in year 7, I started getting like bullied a lot, as I told you in the last video, and yeah, it was mostly men. Like there would be men like constantly walking in front of me and yelling things at me. They would also like say things like repeatedly and ask like repeating questions to me. Like I had a YouTube channel in year 7 and they kept asking about my YouTube channel, and they kept asking to see my YouTube channel as a form of harassment, and they like smiled. I could see them smiling when they knew they were getting to me. They started smiling. So they were getting pleasure out of it, out of harassing me. And like, so this carried on all throughout year 7. And then like in year 8, things got like a little better because the whole school wasn't doing it, but like still everyone in my grade was still bullying me. There was an incident, like I've talked to my psychiatrist about this, and she said it does fall under sexual harassment. So, when I'm like walking up the stairs, like this guy was like touching my butt or my thighs, and like they also took photos of me in like bad situations. The gravity of these types of incidents, they don't really start affecting you till after it's been a while. So for a long time, I couldn't enter like spaces where I would have to be close to men, and it traumatized me for a long time. And I had to go to therapy and psychology about this for so many years after it actually happened. I brought this up to a psychologist even after COVID. It was affecting me so much. I had to go through all of my trauma all over again all these years later. So, in order to not have to go through it anymore, not have to re-endure the trauma to explain it to everyone, I'm making this video so I can finally let go of this weight on my shoulders and I can start moving forward. If people ask me why I'm afraid of men, I can refer them to this video. I found that I could relate to battered women and women who are facing sexual assault by their husbands and partners. I feel like I had been locked in a relationship like that, and I couldn't escape for a while. So I found that I related to them, and I wanted to get my story heard. I was made to go to an environment where I felt unsafe, and I couldn't get out of that situation without being shamed for it. And then also, I went to report it to the principal, but the principal didn't do anything about it. So I had to keep suffering with my abuser, and basically I said in the last video about that friend who kept knocking me on the head, and basically this continued, this type of harassment and continual questioning that I got continued through year 9 and year 10. And then there was this one incident where this guy, he punched me in the shoulder, and then I started crying because I had never been punched before at school. So it was a lot for me to take. In year 8, when I was going through all this bullying, my dad was really abusive as well, and my parent, and he was beating my mom. And I didn't think of this as that much of a big deal because of what I had been through already with the car accident. But I think if I had told people back then that my parents were fighting, they would have been sympathetic, because that's something that someone in year 8 can relate to and understand. But I didn't. But even if I told one person that my parents were fighting, it wouldn't have spread around, and the sympathy would have been short-lived, and they would just go back to bullying me again. So my dad did end up getting divorced with my mom, and he moved to a different country. So yeah, now I'm doing a lot better without a dad. Another aspect of men that I'm afraid of is their voice, because I was put through a lot of verbal bullying, constantly in my ear. They were saying things repeating things to get under my skin. And that's why to this day I'm still afraid of men's voices, because I'm scared that when men open their mouths to talk, that they're going to say something to bully me. That's why I have trouble talking to men to this day and trusting them. And there was also I went to uni, and there was this guy who was 40 years old. He started bullying me as well. He would pick on me, and I was in his group project. And I think I reported him to to the facilitator, but they didn't do anything about it. They just told me to change groups, and that was the end of it. So to this day, I'm still kind of afraid of men, but now that there are men who are younger than me, I'm not afraid of them as much, because they're like, there are some decent men out there, and I've met some, so it's not as difficult as it used to be to. These people made my life a living hell through my whole high school, throughout all of my high school years, and for that I wanted to get back at them, but do it in a way that's not violent. They laughed while I cried, wanting to end my life every day. So I think it's perfectly justified. So after all the pain that men put me through, I found my bullies on Facebook. After all these years, I remembered their first names and their last names. So I made a list of names, and I came up with 18 names of people that bullied me. Everyone else was complicit. I wanted to take revenge. Revenge was on my mind for a long time. The list includes people who bullied me, people who watched it happen, and the vice principal of the school, because he was the one that I went to, and he did nothing about it. Like, I wanted to sue the school, but I don't know if I have the evidence. I've definitely gone to a psychiatrist and I've told them about the bullying, but I didn't give any names. But now I made a list of names, and I also collected the photos of the people that bullied me from their Facebooks. I did release their names on Facebook, but I privated the post. So hopefully their names don't get out to everyone, because that they might come after me. But yeah. Anyway, I'll make a video in the future about my plan. Thank you for watching. Bye.